I remember me and you now, I'm gonna we're off a little off topic or actually on topic because me and you were talking about this, that I had a client that's been living with this partner for the last 20 years. And the question was they wanted to do some estate planning. And since I don't do estate planning, I asked you, which I thought was kind of, I felt embarrassed to ask. Is like, well, do they have to be married? How does that work?
So planning for unmarried people is really, really important. And my partner and I are not married, but we have a child together, and it was a conscious decision that he and I made together. There are a lot of people out there. There are, I think, 17 million adults that are cohabitating in the US today that are not married. The reason planning for unmarried people is even more important is that when you're not married, in the eyes of the law, you're nothing to one another. Common law marriage hasn't existed in California since the 19th century. And so when they talk about next of kin, when you're not married, you're not. And I've had clients who, are in very committed unmarried relationships and would never want their parents or siblings to be the person who's going to make their healthcare decisions or stand in their shoes in the event of, an incapacity and needing to make financial and legal decisions for them. So planning for unmarried people where you can execute documents and legally name your unmarried partner as your agent in these various roles, the person to make legal and financial decisions for you if you can't, the person to make healthcare decisions for you can't. Another situation is, there'll be a couple, maybe like one person owned the home and then the unmarried partner moved in. They've been living there for years. If something happens to the person whose name is on title, if they're not married and they don't have planning in place, that house is going to go to their family members, and that unmarried partner could very feasibly be kicked out and from a home they've been living in, and that's just one example. So yeah, it's really important. And yes, absolutely, unmarried people can plan together. They can either do a joint trust if they have a number of assets that they hold in common, or if they have separate assets, they could do separate trusts and just name each other as the beneficiaries and successor trustees.